Now I'm giving you a quick rundown on these heavy duty sewing machines which I've just recently reviewed. They're all very good machines and they all sit in the £250 to £300 price bracket. Now there are very distinct differences and very distinct similarities between all of these machines. For a starter, they're all very manly, aren't they? They all look very boxy, they all look very square, they're very dark colours. You've got your black and your white, you've got your black and your grey, and you've got your grey. So I don't know if the manufacturers have a target audience for these, but it seems a little bit too obvious. The other main focus, you can see that with the Brother and with the Singer, you don't receive an extension table, you do. And it's a really nice one with the Necchi. So even though these machines are designed for heavy duty work, and you might be making coats, you might be making bridal wear, you might be making quilts, you might be making all sorts of toys and TPs, all sorts of things. You have a little bit of a facility here, but not with these two. You can buy extension tables for the Singer and the Brother, but you do have to pay an extra £1 on top of what you've already spent. Now, the machines offer you a good power, although it's a little bit underwhelming with the Brother. You only have 51 watts of power, which is a peculiar number. The Necchi offer you 90 watts and the Singer offer you 84 watts. My 84 watts here is possibly due to the fact that I've bought this from the United States, and the local ones here will be 90 watts, and it's only to do with the 120 and the ampage and the sums that you do to work it out. But in the UK these will be at 90 watts, but it's marginal and you won't notice any difference between an 84 and a 90. You might think you do, but actually I don't think you would. Stitch width and stitch length is offered on all of them, although they all go for a 4mm stitch length because of the box feed system on them all. The width of the zigzag on the Brother is actually 7mm. You get 6mm on both the Necchi and the Singer. The other aesthetic about these machines is they're all horizontal feeding, which is really smooth for the machine to feed through. And they're all rotary hooks, which means they drop in bobbins, so they're top loaders rather than front loaders. And on the Brother and the Necchi, they have that easy system where you just thread the bobbin thread through and you don't need to draw the thread up. You do on the Singer. Another feature about all these machines is that they offer you drop feed. The drop feed means that you can do embroidery and darning. So if you're going to be using this machine as a repair machine, so you know, we're thinking about the fact that these are not industrial machines, they are domestic machines, but they're sort of acting almost industrial. They have that facility for you. They also have the stitch balance. All the machines offer you a stitch balance, so that if you have a buttonhole that's got more zigzag on one side than the other side, you can balance those stitches out and get it more even. The other thing about these machines is the speed at which they go. You have a disappointing 800 stitches a minute on the Brother. You're sort of painfully begging for this machine to please sew faster. This one goes at an impressive 1000 stitches a minute. It was quite frightening actually. Stitching at 1100. And I feel that I was more scared of this machine than the Singer, because when I actually executed these tasks and challenges, this machine actually went through them fast, and I had completely forgotten that this machine would struggle. So with the chiffon, because of the feeding mechanism, the feed dogs, even though this has 7 feed dogs, 7 rows of feed dogs, the machine really struggled to pull the fabric through. And in fact, I couldn't get that punching system, you know, the needle punching through 4 layers, didn't even feed through 3 layers of leatherette. So it was quite disappointing. And I probably was more frightened with this machine because I had to slow down on this machine, as you saw in the test. And on this machine, I could just whiz right through anything, and it was a hot knife through butter scenario. A couple of other aesthetics I want to quickly finish off with were that the Necchi and the Singer have a presser foot pressure dial, so you can adjust the pressure on the foot onto your fabric. You can't on the Brother. You can adjust the needle position so you can get closer to your piping or your zip on either side of the machine. But on the Brother, it is there, but it's hidden inside the zigzag, and again, it's not as easy to see. Another one that's not easy to see is a stitch selector. People who have come to me with machines similar to this do struggle to understand which stitch they're on, and you know, we get in muddles. And I did say I would recommend this to a beginner because you've got good foot control on the pedal. And discussing it with somebody, the reason why it's got good control on the foot pedal is because of the powerful motor and the distribution of its power. And having that amount of power gives you that control over the foot pedal. This one doesn't, and this one doesn't. The accessories that you get with all the machines are very, very much similar. You get a cover, you get a manual, you get your spool caps, your brush, your bobbins, you get your foot. It's the key things that are a little bit different. So with the Brother and the Necchi, you get a levelling foot. So you get a little pin that sits at the back of the zigzag foot that allows you to level the foot. You don't on the Singer, although they do offer it as an optional purchase. I don't like the fact that the Brother accessories are plastic. There's so much plastic in there. You get an extra plastic brush, whereas the Singer and the Necchi just have a brush on the end of your seam ripper, so that's less plastic. You've got a plastic bag to put everything in, but everything comes in plastic. Your DVD comes in a plastic bag. Your posters, not your manuals, so they're not books, they're posters, come in a plastic bag to keep them all together. Everything's in plastic. Your zip foot's plastic. Another disappointing thing were your needles weren't labelled. What else was there? Oh, as you can see, the balance. Because this machine doesn't go very fast, you have a nice clean area there to put your cuffs, and it's a lightweight machine. These machines, this extension table is almost impossible to put on, and that as equally impossible to take off. I love this extension free arm on the Singer, but what these machines have is a stability plate or stand underneath the free arm, and that's just so that you can't tilt the machine over when you're working over here with heavy weights of fabric. Let's be honest, you will do with a heavy duty machine. You want to make sure that your machine isn't going to tilt over as easily as that. Oh, but before we move on, I want to just remind you that other machine manufacturers do offer heavy duty. For example, Janome is a very common and popular machine in the UK. Machine brand in the UK. The reason I've not chosen their heavy duty machine is because it's £1,100. So that's completely out of the price bracket these machines are, and it is classed as a semi-industrial. So on the whole, the Necchi one, for me, the Singer's going back on the shelf, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the Brother HF27. It's a disappointment, and it should be, I don't know what to do with it. Anyway, hopefully you like that video and it helps you choose a machine that's suitable for you. Take care.